This tea is an absolute mess. And this is Twitch versus VTubers, okay? First, it started with Lynx putting out this tweet. Dan Clancy, can you please shed some light on something? I and other VR chat streamers were hit by a one-day suspension in the last 24 hours. The reason given was inappropriate attire. If this is true, has Twitch reversed their statement regarding VR chat? Is VR chat no longer considered a game, but an augmented reality platform where outfits worn by characters in VR chat have to abide by the nudity and attire guidelines followed by IRL and VTubers? I've asked multiple times at partner tickets and was refused answers or clarification. If this is the case, then can you guys please let the community know, because this will dramatically change a lot of people's content. And this is a screenshot from part of Twitch's stating, how do the new rules about AR avatars impact my content if I stream a virtual reality sandbox game like VR chat? Our policy on augmented reality avatars applies to content where cameras and software are used to capture a person's physical likeness and translate it to a digital overlay. VR chat is categorized as a game on Twitch, and in-game virtual reality models are not subject to a policy on nudity and attire. This content must still comply with our policy on nudity and schmexual content in embedded media and games, however, so you may not modify your game to include nudity or make schmexual elements in a primary focus of your broadcast. If you guys don't know, VR chat is a game in which you can have like a complete 3D avatar and go into a world and just interact with other people in their little 3D avatars. If you've seen VR chat avatars, they can get very, very, very suggestive, you know, because it's a 3D avatar. So you can make your honkas huge, you can make, you know, your butt big, you can add a tail, ear. You can truly push the limits of imagination in VR chat with your model. And a lot of people stream VR chat on Twitch, you know, with Twitch cracking down on sexual content and attire on people, especially, you know, a couple months ago, there was the whole green screening Fortnite on your butt meta and sitting on a clear chair and putting a camera beneath the clear chair meta. There's been always discussions about clothing and attire as a Twitch streamer. So it makes sense that this person is asking for clarification about this in terms of VR chat, because the distinction between VR chat being a game or an augmented reality would determine whether it is under the jurisdiction of Twitch's clothing and schmexual content guidelines or not. So Twitch support dropped this. Hey Lynx, we are in the process of sending communications to VTubers and specifically VR chat streamers, but for the purpose of responding to this question directly, yes, this old blog from 2020 is no longer correct. We recognize that this may not have been completely clear given the prior blog you highlighted and apologize for this. We will update this. These streamers' warnings, including yours, have now been removed. VR chat streamers will now need to follow the same attire guidelines as normal streams. So we have a comment from Camila stating, yeah, I really hope so. I found it extremely unfair that VTubers couldn't have a crumb of underboob or booty fang without getting banned. While VR chatters, on the other hand, I kid you not, wear almost nothing and face zero penalty. Make it make sense. I'm just trying to show you some discourse between people with opposing thoughts. Link says, well, there's still going to be the limitation that VTubers can't actually be in, say, a pool. So it would be appropriate for something like a bikini, whereas VR chat streamers can be in an environment like that to wear a skimpy bikini. It's not fair, but what is it now? And again, this discourse is very interesting because if you guys know, VTubers, again, are 2 or 3D avatars that people can stream with. It is, in a way, kind of similar to VR chat where you do have an avatar, so you don't reveal your face, but your movements are reflected by the avatar. The difference is, again, the VR chat 3D model exists in the VR chat world. It is literally an environment. There's like different places you can be in. You can be in a pool. You can be in a strip club if you wanted to. You can be in different places in VR chat. Whereas if you're a VTuber, unless you went into Unreal Engine and then built yourself an entire room, which some VTubers do, like Code Miko, most VTubers, they either have like a PNG room behind them or they have a video game behind them. It does make sense what Link said, that there is no context necessarily for VTubers to be in extremely skimpy outfits, that it may make sense for VR chats, you know, streamers to be in. Like, for instance, a bikini in a pool. Is it fair? Probably not, right? They're both 2 or 3D avatars that you are acting as. A lot of VTubers are lewd tubers and they will wear more scandalous outfits and kind of have more suggestive content on stream. And it's just a common thing. A lot of people enjoy it. I don't think what those VTubers are doing, it's like equal to streamers on Twitch that also do suggestive content, but they are just human flesh tuber streamers instead of 2D, 3D avatars. So it is interesting that there's this distinction between VR chat and actual VTubers. A whole bunch of VR chat streamers all of a sudden were getting banned. Either one-day suspensions or longer, just for either sexual content or wearing something provocative on stream. And again, if you guys have not seen VR chat streamers, some people in VR chat wear very interesting stuff. It is definitely pushing the realms of imagination. Actually, like not even. Like you really don't have to imagine anything. that's just kind of like the nature of VR chat. Like a lot of people dress like that in VR chat. It is what it is. And a lot of VR chat streamers were quite upset that they were then subjected to the same clothing requirements as VTubers and FleshTubers on Twitch. So we have somebody like Dominion who says, when can I get mine removed? I got a 7-day ban and mine's got denied. And again, their ban was for sexual content. We have somebody else like Jimmy stating, so rather than giving proper warnings, you give a couple day bans to people that they can't appeal with an agreement to your new attire guidelines. Man, that's kind of F. Two of my favorite VR streamers got banned because of this. One said they all but gave up on Twitch at this point. Twitch didn't really notify anybody about this. They had this like really vague blog post that was very outdated and no longer true. And then this new TOS talking about attire guidelines with no clarification as to how VR chat would be moderated under this attire guideline. And a whole bunch of streamers are just getting banned. Because of outrage from the community, Twitch support pulled out with this on June 8th. We made a change to our enforcement guidelines recently regarding the application of our attire policy to VR chat streams. We received a lot of feedback from the VR chat community, basically everybody posting screenshots about why they got banned and being upset about it, about the confusion this has caused, especially since it was not accompanied by a change to our published policy guidelines. Effective today, we are rolling back the change to the enforced guidelines. Any strikes due to this change will be depreciated. That said, as stated in our policy, our attire policy guidelines still apply to VTubers, but it does not apply to characters in games such as VR chat. Niumi, who states, maybe if y'all added a VTuber category to Twitch, then this wouldn't be an issue and VTubers could have their own comfortable section just like the VR chatters. True, because again, amongst VTubers, there's definitely been a discussion about attire for VTubers as well, because I mean, they are 2 or 3D avatars, which is essentially the same thing as VR chatters. Darley says, can VTubers in general please get a revision on the entire policy because people are getting banned for nothing while facecam streamers can be in bikinis with no repercussions. I've seen people get banned while being fully clothed, so the policy is questionable. Sorry says, I'll stream in the hot tub category from now on every time I'm in 3D, if you don't mind. I'm not as naked as most streamers there. Buff Pup says, telling everyone you don't know what a VTuber is without actually saying it, speedrun. It's just so interesting because it seems like there's a big discourse between VR chatters and VTubers. Whereas like the VR chat streamers obviously just wanted to continue doing whatever they were doing and they didn't want any unexplained bans, which makes a lot of sense. But amongst the VTubers, they're all again upset that they are being policed in a way that FleshTubers are being policed, you know, in terms of attire guidelines. But they are more in line technically with a VR chatter than with a FleshTuber technically in terms of appearance. Leah says, so 3D VTuber models have a different rule to VR chat avatars when a 3D model could be imported to VR chat. What? Lele says, wait. If I have underboob showing on my 3D VTuber model in my VTuber software, it's a ban. But if I port that exact same model into VR chat, there's no ban. What is even the difference? Zaki says, huge LTBH, it should apply. Have you not seen the state of VR chat category? This was a good change. Don't revert it. I do think it should be like everything goes or nothing goes. I think it's weird that they don't have this attire policy for VR chat that they're enforcing on VTubers. It doesn't make sense. The avatars in VR chat essentially are VTubers. It's a 3D model, but you can also have a 3D VTuber. Twitch is weird. I just really wish Twitch was clear, and Twitch has a history of not being clear about policies they're implementing. And then like what happened here, banning a bunch of people for not following random arbitrary rules they weren't clear about, and then going back and revoking it again.